I'm Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet, joined by Eric Engels from Sportsnet. And the Montreal Canadiens keep Carey Price in a Montreal Canadiens jersey. This is instant analysis. And Eric, I stepped out my front door this morning. A big gust of wind hit me in the face from the east. I figure it must have been the collective sigh of relief from Canadiens fans. How did this come together?
You know what? You got to look at it from Seattle's perspective first. And I think they figured there was too much risk to assume in this situation. There's $44 million that needs to be paid out. The Price a little bit more than that over the remaining 5 years of his contract. They'd be eating up 13% of the cap with his contract and that $10.5 million hit for a cap that's going to be stagnating for probably the next 4 seasons. It was a big risk to begin with, but without knowing the injury status and exactly how long Carey Price might be out to start next season, it was too much risk for them to assume. And that was the bet that Marc Bergevin made here. He didn't want to give up anything for Jake Allen, ended up protecting him. He didn't want to give up anything for Carey Price, figuring, Seattle is going to look at the aging curve. He's turning 34. They're going to look at the injury situation, which they don't have clarity on, and they're going to pass. And he made this decision with Carey Price. They both, were in on this discussion. They'll move forward together. And I think the Canadiens are definitely really happy that Carey Price will remain a Montreal Canadian.
You mentioned injury concerns with Carey Price. What else do we need to know going forward on that regard?
Well, he's supposed to meet with a specialist. It's been reported on Thursday in New York. He's going to have to obviously check out his knee, potentially his hip, as Frank Saravalli reported. That's a situation where they're going to hope that it's a short-term injury, because that was the whole value in protecting Jake Allen and having him step in the early part of the season, do the great job, just like he did last season to get them to the playoffs. They have that stability. He's a great partner to Carey Price. And hopefully Price can work his way back into a steadier workload and not an extreme one like he's been on for the last number of years. And that's their plan moving forward. So they're just going to have to hope for good news out of the doctor's office on Carey Price.
Eric, you talked about or reported that Phil Danault is not expected to be back with the Montreal Canadiens. A lot of balls up in the air for Marc Bergevin. What else do we need to know about what he needs to get done in the coming weeks?
Well, he needs to have an answer on Shea Weber, and it doesn't sound like he's going to get one before training camp starts. Now, there is a 10% cushion that he could exceed the cap by between now and then, and he's got a lot of money to spend with Philip Danault walking out, with Thomas Tatar likely walking out. He's got to sign Joel Armia. He's got to know what's going on with Jonathan Drouin. You or I might not know right now. Designation is long-term IR for him, but we'll see if he wants to return to play. So he could have extra money on the cap to spend with Marc Bergevin, and it's going to be a crazy couple of weeks, because I think he's going to be super active in filling some of these holes, especially if the reports remain that Shea Weber is out for the foreseeable future.
Marc Bergevin's Carey Price gamble pays off. Let's see if he can keep that mojo going as we head forward. The NHL entry draft on Friday, and July 28th, free agency, a time to address some of those holes that you are talking about, Eric.